I'm a bit of a glamper now, not a camper. But I asked Kaitie to share with all of us tonight, like, look at their car packed to the rafters for that camping trip. And I love that picture of the kids and Mike, of course. So I asked Kaitie to share with us tonight how she packs her cooler with Tupperware, because this is actually a great demonstration that you guys could do, and just get in the habit of doing this all the time, and something you could do when you're at the campground. It'd be a great way to meet new people out there, all those kinds of things. So Kaitie, if you're ready, I'm just going to turn it right over to you.
I am ready. My kids aren't in bed yet, so if you hear yelling.
Why won't it let me assign
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, for whatever reason, it's not letting me pin you. Hold on. Now it is. You go.
Okay. So before I get started, yeah, we have a big cooler that we usually use when we go tenting and camping. But it's like full of stuff because we're not camping yet. It's still too cold for us. But I have my Tupperware cooler that I brought out. And this is the one that we also bring when we go camping. And actually, this is where we put all of our drinks. So all of our like canned drinks usually go in here. And this is where what we would bring when we go on our day trips, or if I'm going to the beach. So wherever we're like, yeah, tenting, we usually fill this one for the day or whatever and take it wherever we're going, if that's the case. So I grabbed this one and you guys can see what I have packed in it, and it's quite similar to how we pack our big one, but the thing I don't like about this cooler is it does have the wheels. So like it's awesome for pulling behind you when you're going to the beach and things like that, but it is a little bit trickier to pack. Normally our cooler is packed to the brim and everything is usually all rectangular. So it's just, I love it when it happens like that. So I'm going to share with you guys most of the stuff that we fit in our cooler all the time. So instead of bags of ice, what we do is we usually have 4 of our slimline pitchers that we fill up with water and we freeze them. So these are our ice packs. I love it because they fit perfectly in the cooler and then there's not as much there's like a little bit of sweat that will happen off of these, but it's not the same as if you had a bag of your ice. And so I'm recording. I can't. Ask your dad, please. Stop. Sorry, you guys. So anyways, Enzo, go please. I'm gonna get mad. Okay, so if you have your bag of ice, sorry, you know how there's always extra water and stuff that just seeps out of it. With this, I find it's not as bad. And then after usually like 3 or 4 days, we have a whole bunch of drinking water. So usually like 3 or 4 days, I find we have about like half a jug that we can use for drinking water as well. So it's good for that. And then, yeah, towards the end of the camp trip, we just use this rather than like our big jug of water that we bring. But yeah, so 4 of these, and we usually put them all on one side to keep our cooler cold. And then we usually use our freeze-it containers, and we use these for our meals that we plan. So we love to do things like spaghetti, chicken tikka. There's usually 4 meals that we do where we make them ahead of time and then we freeze them. So just kind of like whatever leftovers, and we usually do like saucy kind of stuff. And then we'll just bring like noodles or rice or whatever to go with it. But this is usually enough meat and sauce and veggies. Sometimes we'll add veggies into it. But yeah, so this is usually enough meat and sauce for me and my 2 boys right now, and my husband, don't forget about him. But down the road, I have a feeling we'll have to have more as our kids get bigger. But these are the containers that we usually use for our meal prepping. And again, I like them just because they're rectangular. Another option that would be really good is our silicone bags. So if I were to do it, Probably like the medium and the large would be my go-tos. And again, I would freeze your meals in them so that they not only work as additional ice packs to keep everything cold, but then yeah, nothing leaks in, like, depending upon what you're doing. And then after, you have containers that you can put leftovers in. So then that's what we always do. So if there's like a little bit of leftovers, after, we'll just do a quick load of dishes and then pack up any leftovers in our containers and throw it back in the cooler. But yeah, so love our silicone bags. What else I was gonna say about the silicone bags? Oh, if we are doing something like spaghetti, sometimes we don't necessarily make all of the sauce, or hamburger helper is a huge meal in my family because it's like one thing that my kids actually eat. So we just bring like frozen hamburger. And so again, I would put my hamburger meat in here, freeze that, and then yeah, use the box stuff that my kids eat. Does that make sense? Okay. We trying to think of what to say next. Usually we have a little bit of milk for cereal. Sometimes if there's a recipe that calls for milk, and we just use our water bottles. So depending upon how much we are needing milk, my kids are really into cereal right now, so we probably need like a 2 liter or two 1 liter water bottles. We usually just do the 1 liter. And then, yeah, I don't worry about milk leaking everywhere. We usually buy the big 4 liter jugs. If we were going camping, we would probably buy like a 2 liter jug or like a carton. But then the carton, I just find it always gets wet in a cooler before. So we've always just put our milk in our water bottles. And then eggs, we love all kinds of eggs. Usually we do scrambled eggs. Sometimes it's fried eggs or like an egg sandwich or something like that. Before Tupperware, I would just have my eggs usually like in an egg carton, and then your egg carton gets all soggy just from the moisture and stuff. So we pre-crack our eggs and we put them in our quick shakes. I'd have to look it up, but I want to say you can fit like 15 large eggs in here. I know that it's more than a dozen. Sorry if you guys can hear my kids screaming. So we don't usually have the blender, and usually we just plop an egg out one at a time. If you have like the extra large eggs, they're not going to fit through here. But then you could just plop them out. If you like scrambled eggs and you just want to scramble them up, just throw in all your milk and eggs and stuff in here all at once and scramble it, and then just pour as you need. But yeah, so we always fill this up with eggs, and I never worry about eggs being broken in my cooler and things like that. Okay, these ones actually have food in them, but Squeeze-Its, if you don't have Squeeze-Its, get Squeeze-Its. These save so much space, not only in the cooler, but in your fridge. So we have them for all sorts of things like ketchup, plum sauce, dressings, like all your sauces. We also have one for dish soap that we use, but that doesn't go in your cooler, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I just love these because yeah, you need ketchup and plum sauce when you have children, and you don't want to bring like a glass jar while you're camping. So you just, yeah, that's just asking for trouble. And so these ones are definitely my favorites. And then your fruits and veggies. So I always pack, so the way in like my rectangular cooler, we usually pack our slimline pitchers along the one side, or otherwise we'll put like all of our frozen meats and then the pitchers separating it. And then anything that's okay to get a little bit cold, so or like frozen. So usually it's our sauces we'll use as like a buffer. And then on the top, or otherwise on the far left side, we'll put our fridge smarts. And so I do use fridge smarts for like the fruits and veggies that need to stay cold while you're camping. Fridge smarts are just amazing. Do you want me to talk about them at all, Naomi?
Probably don't have time, so stay
Okay.
tuned for
Okay.
the next couple of weeks, because we will be training on them, because you guys saw that they're all on sampling for June. So
But I love the fridge smarts rather than a clamshell, because clamshells will just get wrecked in a cooler, especially if you have kids and they're like throwing other things back in there. you don't want your berries and stuff to get squished. So this just keeps them protected. You can wash them ahead of time, make sure they're dry, put them back in here, and then it's just easier. You can just take them out and put them on the table as you're serving up your lunch or breakfast or whatever. So we always have our fridge smarts. And then this is another one of my go-tos. I love these for the road trip portion because you can always have different candies and snacks in here, something for everybody. But when we're camping and doing our beach trips, we love these for like our meat and cheese and crackers or veggies and stuff. If you're doing something like burgers, this is awesome for prepping all of those like your lettuce and tomatoes and bacon and stuff, and you can have them all separated and all just ready to go. But these ones are the ones that we usually take also like when we're going to the beach, but usually I have a couple, and so I would have one that's prepped with all of my like ham sausage cut and then like my sandwich meat cut so that it's just like ready to go for the week. And same with my cheese. So rather than maybe bringing like a whole block of cheese, we go to Costco all the time. I cut it up and then we would have like our cheese slices just like ready to go. But yeah, so I would probably put this on the bottom and then my fridge smarts on top, on my left side of my cooler, and then all my frozen stuff on the other. But yeah, those are probably my go-tos that I would do in our cooler when we go camping.
That's a lot of Tupperware, but look at that. In like 15 minutes, Kaitie demonstrated how many different product lines. We got fridge smart, we got freezer. She showed us a lot of the fridge accessories, right? You could tie so many things in. The One Touch Fresh containers would also be great containers that you could be using right now in your coolers and stuff too, guys. So don't forget to use those. Again, because there are lots of different sizes and they're modular, they stack together really nicely. So the One Touch Fresh would be great additions to that as well. So thank you, Kaitie, for sharing with us.